I only look at
hang on a second. You
following.
said you've seen more hateful content, but you can't name a single example, not even one.
I'm not sure I've used that feed for the last 3 or 4 weeks, and
Well, then how did you see the hateful content?
Because I've been using Twitter since you've taken it over for the last 6 months.
Okay, so then you must have at some point seen the for you hateful content. I'm asking for one example.
Right.
And you can't give a single one.
And I'm saying
then I say, sir, that you don't know what you're talking about.
Really?
What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from The Quartering, and this exchange between Elon Musk and a BBC reporter might be the most devastating exchange that I've ever seen. It is absolutely destructive to whatever tiny little bit of reputation and integrity that the mainstream media had left. And it's really one of those things that you've probably already seen the clip going around. But there's also some value in breaking it down. And also what Twitter's actually revealed today, in this interview, is that this is a company that went from losing millions of dollars a day to already, at least according to Elon, roughly breaking even, which is an immense task. This back and forth is probably the best birthday gift that Elon could have given me. And a birthday gift from you would also be awesome, just by leaving a like on the video. And if you haven't yet, subscribing to the channel. I've already told you enough about the strawberries and cream coffee brand coffee. It'll be linked in the description. Make sure you give it a try. I think you're really going to love it. Now, Anomaly listed this video. This is how unimpressive mainstream media journalists are. This is why they normally hide behind articles and don't debate. And this is just one of the most savage back and forths here from Business Insider. A reporter tried several times, and they're actually whining that Elon Musk kept talking and kept crushing him after the reporter tried to end the interview. This is the amount of cope that I'm going to share with you today is unbelievable. Elon Musk torches BBC reporter who claimed hateful content, Twitter content had been increasing. This is something that we've seen at like the mainstream media level, unchecked for months, and they're using it. The reason I think Elon is so aggressive in defending it is that the media is using it to bully people out of advertising on the platform. Twitter CEO on Tuesday poked holes in a BBC reporter's suggestion that there's more hateful content on the social media app since Musk's takeover. The reporter, James Clayton, could not name a single example of hateful content he'd even seen on the site. Musk asked Clayton to describe what he considers hateful content. Clayton offered a definition, quote, content that will solicit a reaction, something that may include something that is slightly racist or slightly sexist. Those kinds of things. Elon says, quote, so you think if something is slightly racist, it should be banned? Musk asked. Clayton replied, no, I'm not saying anything. The pair went back and forth, with Musk pressing Clayton for specific examples of hateful content. Clayton said he could not offer any because he no longer uses the For You feed on Twitter. Quote, you've seen more hateful content, but you can't name a single example, not even one, Musk said to Clayton. And said he hasn't used it for the For You feed in 3 or 4 weeks, but has been using Twitter since Musk bought the company for $44 billion in October. Quote, so then you must have, at some point, seen the For You hateful content, and I'm asking you for a single example, and you can't give me one, Musk said. Then I say to you that you don't know what you're talking about. What this does is reveal, like, the emperor has no clothes type of thing. Like, the media has been saying this, pressing this narrative, like, well, actually, hateful content has increased dramatically since Elon Musk took over, and just presenting it as fact and using that to fearmonger advertisers off the platform. But the fact of the matter, it has not. So Clayton ultimately noted the conversation was not getting anywhere, and it urged Musk to change topics, well, because he exposed him. The Institute for Strategic Dialogue responded to the interview in a Twitter thread, pointing to their study that found a substantive 2x rise in English language anti-Semitic speech since Musk took over Twitter. Okay, again, a random case study. Like this is, I mean, this interview. And then, by the way, Elon Musk, Twitter owner, changes BBC's accounts to government funded, and like the BBC, he's just going to war with these with the news agencies to breaking NPR rage quits Twitter after being labeled state affiliated media. But they are, and so is the BBC. They're both state funded. I just got to share some of this.
I mean, I would only just add that, we have spoken to people who have been sacked that used to be in content moderation, and we've spoken to people very recently who were involved in moderation, and they just say there's not enough people to police this stuff, particularly around hate speech in the company. Is that
what hate speech are you
address?
Talking about? I mean, you use Twitter,
right?
Do you see a rise in hate speech?
I mean,
but just a personal anecdote. Like, what do you? I don't.
Personally, for you, I would see I get more of that kind of content. Yeah, personally.
And he gets caught in a lie here. And this is like not even masterful debate by Elon. This is just like asking questions.
I'm not going to talk to the rest of for the rest of Twitter.
So
but they do.
More hate speech personally.
I would say I would see more hateful content in that.
Content you don't like or hateful? What do you mean to describe a hateful thing?
Yeah, I mean, just
I can't name it. I can't name
examples. Content. And I'm asking for specific examples. And you just said that if something is slightly sexist, that's hateful content. Does that mean that it should be banned?
Well, you've asked me whether my feed, whether it's got less or more. I'd say it's got slightly more.
That's why I'm asking for examples.
Name one thing.
One example.
I honestly don't use.
You can't name a single example.
I'll tell you why, because I don't actually use that for you feed anymore.
But he just said that he does use it, and he saw that it was a rise in that.
I just don't particularly like it.
But you
said a lot of people are quite similar. I only.
Other people have said.
A second. You said you've seen more hateful content, but you can't name a single example, not even one.
I'm not sure I've used.
I'm like secondhand embarrassment for this guy.
That feed for the last 3 or 4 weeks, and
then how did you see that hateful content?
Because
Liar.
I've been using
Liar.
Since you've taken it over for the last 6 months.
Okay, so then you must have at some point seen that for you hateful content. I'm asking for one example.
Right.
And you can't give a single one.
And I'm saying.
I say, sir, that you don't know what you're talking about.
He's just lying. The thing is, he does know what he's talking about. He's lying.
Really?
Yes, because you can't give me a single example of hateful content, not even one tweet. And yet you claimed that the hateful content was high.
Well,
that's false.
No.
You just lied.
What? No.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. And it gets even better. I don't know if this clip has it or not, but he then turns it on him with the BBC's own COOF misinformation.
No, what I claim was there are many organizations that say that kind of information is on the rise. Now, whether it has on my feed or not, I mean,
he can't. He just states it as fact and has done zero work.
Right, and
literally
if you look at something
one.
like the Strategic Dialogue Institute in the UK, they will say that. So
they will say it, sure.
Say all sorts of nonsense.
Yeah.
I'm literally asking for a single example, and you can't name one.
Right, and as I already said, I don't use that feed. But
then how would you know that?
I don't think this is getting anywhere.
You literally said you experienced more hateful content, and then couldn't name a single example.
Right, and as I said,
that's absurd.
I haven't actually looked at that feed.
Imagine that. Imagine this guy is like, he's probably never felt smaller.
Then how would you know this hateful content?
Because I'm saying that's what I saw a few weeks ago. I can't
name one thing.
Example. Let's move on. We only have a certain amount of time.
Wow.
COVID. You changed the COVID misinformation.
Has
rules.
BBC changed its COVID misinformation?
Uh-oh.
The BBC does not set the rules on Twitter, so I'm asking you.
No, I'm talking about the BBC's misinformation about COVID.
Oops. Oh, he opened that door.
I'm literally asking you about, you changed the labels, the COVID misinformation labels. There used to be a policy, it then disappeared. Why do that?
Well, COVID is no longer an issue.
Yeah, right. That's why.
does the BBC hold itself at all responsible for misinformation regarding masking and side effects of vaccinations?
Oh,
and not reporting on that at all?
Oh.
And what about the fact that the BBC was put under pressure by the British government to change its editorial policy? Are you aware of that?
This guy really thought he was going to get in a room across from Elon Musk and out-intellectual him. What an absolute beautiful thing to see. Make sure you leave a like on this video. Check out coffeebrandcoffee.com for my birthday. At least check out the reviews. That's all I could ask. And we'll talk to you again real soon.